SPMP サイドストーリーくんねちぷ。
Previous overview. Susa has stopped contacting Kernesiapu, and it is the season of white snow without her sister returning. So Kernesiapu decided to talk to her mother and tell her what she was thinking. Only time passed without being able to do anything. I didn't get any information from the ancestral tree either. But I don't think it's okay to stay like this. Right now, even if it snows, it melts and disappears quickly, but when the snow piles up, no one will be able to go far. If that happens, my sister won't be able to come home until the snow melts. If there is a possibility of snow falling, it should be difficult for even adults to cross the mountain. For now, I'm going to tell my mom how I feel and ask her what I'm going to do. The opportunity came a few days later. My mother came home saying, "I'm worried that it's going to rain for a few days from tonight." I was a little worried about the rain that my mother was worried about, but I was a little happy inside. It started to rain that night, as my mother said, but it wasn't that heavy, and my mom came back soon after a short look outside. When it rains a lot, water falls from the roof, but so far it's fine. But my mom is worried, so I'm sure it's going to rain heavily. And it became a reality. The next day, as soon as it got brighter, the rain and wind became stronger, and the weather became so rough that the house creaked in the wind and I felt scared. I was more worried about the strong wind than the heavy rain. When the rain stopped, I went outside and looked at the sky, and there were black clouds covering the sky, and the wind was strong enough to break the branches of the trees. The color of the sky on this day made my mood more depressing than ever. At night the rain and wind became even stronger, and we spent our time huddled together in the house. That night, I confided everything I thought to my mother and discussed it with her. I first told my mother how I felt about my sister, and then I asked her why I wasn't picking her up. When my mother heard my story, she burst into tears, hugged me, and began to speak slowly. My mother hugged my shoulder and said, "I want to pick up Tokupchup as soon as I can, and if I can, I want to leave Palakodan too." My mother continued, "Considering the people who are left behind, we can't leave here, and we can't bring Tokupchup back and make her a priestess. And I want you to live freely," she murmured. When I asked my mother about the priestess, she told me that she was an important priestess who prayed to the gods and watched the flow of the weather for crops and fishing, and told her that she had made a promise to Susa to serve as the priestess. As a condition for my mother becoming a priestess, she made a promise to Susa to stop forcibly proceeding with things, and when deciding something, my father would be responsible for organizing everyone's opinions, and then it would be discussed with Susa. I understand why my dad is so busy, but I don't understand why I can't bring my sister back. Is there no freedom in the priestess? My mom didn't go into more detail, saying, "There are things you'll find out when you're a little older," but at the end, she said, "It's best to be with people you like," she said, patting me on the head. I didn't understand what a priestess was, but I could tell that my mom didn't want us to be priestesses. For now, let's wait and believe so as not to make my mother sad. Outside, the wind and rain were still blowing, the house creaked and shook, and water dripped from the roof. I was scared and clung to my mother, but before I knew it, I had fallen asleep. In the morning, the rain had stopped, and only a strong wind was blowing. When I went outside, the sky was a little cloudy, but it was bright. 10 years have passed since that day. I was looking up at the cloudy sky again. Today's story ends. The continuation of the story will be updated Monday. Please look forward to. If you like, please subscribe to the channel. See you again.